Note, I'm going to refer to myself as a girl, despite not being a cis girl, because that is currently how society sees me, or how I saw myself at the time in question. It's Pride Month, so now I have to do the obligatory Pride video where I walk you through my beautiful alphabet soup. Tomato-y. Pause here for title card. I am demi-panromantic, asexual, trans, non-binary, bigender, and polyamorous. So what does that mouthful even mean? Demiromantic. This refers to how I experience my romantic feelings. I need to have an emotional connection with someone before I have a romantic attraction. It took me a long time to realize this because of my upbringing in an emotionally abusive evangelical household. I was heavily encouraged not to connect with others in the world. Dun 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 dun. Because of this, I avoided opening up to other people in the world. So I never got the chance to form romantic feelings. For the longest time, I just thought I was doing a good job of being a godly woman and avoiding temptations. In the world. Dun 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 dun. But when I finally started opening up, I got my first crushes, and it was confusing and unpleasant as hell. Any new experience is going to be off-putting, but I had no clue how to even deal with it. And I couldn't go to my family or friends for help because one of those crushes was a girl. Panromantic. I love everybody, regardless of gender, and no preference for any gender presentation except for Scorpia's femme butch queen. But first crush being a girl, oh god, I was head over heels, even before I was willing to admit or even able to recognize that I liked a girl. That's the weird part. Since I grew up in a society that constantly reinforced in my mind that girls did not have romantic feelings for other girls, I never considered that as a possibility. I just really wanted to be this girl's friend. A real just gals being pals mindset. That did not stop me acting a complete fool. Anytime there was an open seat, I sat next to her. Did she need help with her homework? Let me race across the classroom to help her out. Time to pair up for a project? Join her team. It got so bad that when she was trying to start a girls' basketball team, I practically tripped over myself to join the team, even though I had no clue how to play basketball. I was more a softball person, never played basketball before, and worked night shift on the weekends, so I had no idea how I would even make it to the games. I worry in hindsight that it came across as some kind of creepy shadow, but present me would love to be a shadowy eldritch creature, so that's okay. Let's just say closeted baby gay me was the epitome of the useless lesbian trope. Part of that is because there's no script for how a quote-unquote girl is supposed to love another quote-unquote girl. If I'm interested in a boy, society already has the script written. It's a garbage patriarchal script, but at least I know what I'm supposed to do. I remember when I dated my first non-binary partner, and I freaked out so much about what the fuck I'm supposed to do. Nobody taught an NB how to ask out another NB. What do NBs even do in a relationship together? It was total chaos, pandemonium. The societal fabric will be destroyed, not the fabric! The filthy queers will replace the societal fabric of a rainbow blanket. The horror. And now, gender. Gender. What is gender? No, seriously, what is gender? It makes no fucking sense. Non-binary YouTubers have thoroughly eviscerated and picked through the topic's desiccated corpse, so I won't go into that here. I'm trying to say I don't have anything to add to the conversation. Go watch better videos on the topic. But my gender. I am non-binary, bigender, trans person. Trans. I am not the same gender as I was assigned at birth. Non-binary. I do not align strictly with one side of the gender binary. Bigender. I am a man and a woman, but not in a half and half type way. In the same way that purple is its own color. It's not half blue and half red. I am all man
and all woman.
Yes!
Jesus can be fully God and fully man, then I can be fully man and fully woman. Unlike my attraction to the same sex, I noticed my gender at a very young age and then was taught to ignore it and suppress it. I have vivid memories of dressing as androgynously as possible as a young kid and getting asked by kids and other adults, which is fucking creepy, if I was a boy or a girl. And with a shit-eating grin on my face, I would say yes, and watch them melt down as their tiny brains malfunction, like a calculator dividing by 0. I know for some non-binary people, receiving that "are you a boy or a girl" question is very triggering, because it's demanding an answer that might make things unsafe and leave them open to abuse. And for me, sometimes it was really fun. Other times, it did lead to verbal abuse. Which, if you're an adult yelling at a kid for not telling you their gender assigned at birth, can you just grow up? Really? So I understand the fear and trauma around that question. But for me, it was extremely gender affirming. To be on that thin line of androgyny where people saw me as either a boy or a girl, or a big old question mark, felt amazing. Other times, people would just assume I was a boy and refer to me with masculine pronouns.
I can work with this.
Of course, it would all come crashing down when my siblings or sisters would come around to play and would, quote-unquote, correct the person. And of course, the folks I was hanging out with would then get angry at me for lying and how I was a girl, so I should act like a girl, blah, 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 blah. Non-binary people know the drill. So through a constant course of fear and intimidation, I learned to hide who I really was, and created this shield of a socially acceptable girl to protect myself. And I withdrew myself from other people in case I accidentally let something slip that would make a casual conversation extremely dangerous. It took until college for me to stop pretending and finally admit who I really am. And when I did, there was immediate change. I didn't feel like I needed to watch everything I said and did. I let myself live again. It was like I never was alive until that moment that I let myself be myself. I was dead, then I was alive. Seems a bit melodramatic, but that's how I feel. So polyamory. This one took the longest for me to admit to. I was dating this very nice gentleman, but I was dating him as I was finishing my deconstructing of my evangelical upbringing. So I feel kind of guilty about it. I was dating this poor kid as a way to prove to myself I was a girl, monogamous, allosexual, and straight. It was just not a good mindset to approach a relationship, especially one that I wanted to be long-lasting. I was looking to date someone who wanted the stereotypical cis monogamous girl so I could then become that person. It was my last attempt to maintain the shield. So of course it failed. Of course I was miserable. I don't regret that relationship. I feel like it was what I needed to recognize that I wasn't any of those things. And after that relationship, I realized I couldn't go back to being the good Christian girl I was before. However, I do feel guilty about how I used this random kid as a straight experiment, like the reverse of a straight girl experimenting with a lesbian. He thought this was a genuine relationship, and it was really my attempt to hide from myself. So, yeah, I used him and wasted his time, and I'm extremely sorry about that. There was a huge difference in happiness for me after I started dating polyamorous people. Before, I felt constricted and trapped. How could I be everything one person needs? And isn't it selfish for me to expect a single person to be everything I want? I don't think monogamy is inherently selfish. I just think it's not for me. Different people offer different things, and I'm not going to completely close myself off to that and deny my feelings because of a societal construct from the 1800s. I'm not a Victorian housemaid, so I'm not going to court someone that way. Asexual. No sexual attraction. My sexual orientation is no thank you. I'd rather get caught in a bear trap and gnaw off my own leg to survive than have sex. I don't feel like this has affected my life more than just feeling a genuine sense of relief that it's an option. The pressure to have sex is immense. Sex is everywhere. It's a marketing tool. Want a fancy car? Here's a half-naked lady posing on some hot metal. Which, ouch! Metal heats up fast. I know that wasn't comfortable. Probably have third-degree burns all around her body. The pressure to have a sexual attraction is so palpable that I would make up attractions. Like it's expected for me to objectify hot people, so I better find some hot people to objectify. Like Lil Nas X talking about boobies. I tried really hard to talk about abs and facial structures. Those eyes sure are evenly spaced? I don't know. I must not have been as convincing as I thought, because when I came out as asexual, no one really batted an eye. Being asexual has made it hard to date. I have had several times where I was talking with someone and we were both really feeling it, and then they learn I'm asexual and they don't want to date, which, fair. I don't begrudge anyone who doesn't want to date a sex-repulsed ace if they want sex. Different people want different things out of a relationship. That means different structures, roles, expectations. I know likey sex, other people do likey sex. Honestly, after I came out as everything, it was really annoying. There was the transphobia, acephobia, homophobia I had to deal with from shitbags, but what was the most annoying was everyone going, "Oh, I knew it." Like, at least act surprised. I spent most of my life in hiding and fear, and y'all already knew it? The fuck? You couldn't have told me? I went through this whole journey of discovery and you already knew it. You couldn't have slipped me a note that says, "Psst, you're gay." Like, fuck all of you. Honestly, being who I am is amazing. And since this was more focused on how I came to accept myself with all my identities, it was more focused on the negatives of being who I am. But I wanted to make it as clear as possible. I am happy and I am living a complete life with my whole self that would not have been possible before. I am never going back.
The past is in the past.
That sad little kid wondering what was wrong with him does not exist anymore. I am incredible and queer as fuck. Well, that's a very brief look at my alphabet soup. I was stuck in bed, you were stuck here with me, but now you may go and live your lives. Go, be cute, keep gay, be crime. Bye!